Hey chocolate friends, Carla here from Opening Chocolate. Today I'm going to talk about a chocolate maker out of Australia. This one. Ooh, they're big bars. Okay, so this is Ratio Chocolate out of Melbourne, Australia. It was started by Debbie Makin in 2017. And let me give you a little bit of background about her. So Debbie has a background in zoology. She's a bachelor's of science in zoology, and she worked in zoology for 10 years, going to Kenya, Australia, the United States, South Africa, all over the place. And then she did a switcheroo and switched to wedding planning. Kind of same zoo, different animals. She did that in New Zealand and England. And she travels a lot, and she doesn't drink alcohol or coffee or smoke. And so usually the first thing that she was seeking out when she got someplace was chocolate. And her first experience with bean to bar chocolate was in South Africa with a company called Honest Chocolate. From there, she took some courses. So in 2015, she took a course at a pastry school with Kristen Tibbles, who is known as the Australian Queen of Chocolate. She also did some learning with the people at Dandelion Chocolate. And she now has a operation, a shop, a cafe, a factory in Melbourne. It's got this cool glass wall. You can go and get a factory tour. At the end of the tour, she told me this funny story. At the end of the tour, they have a tasting where they taste like some like the raw ingredients, like nibs, then a blend, then single origin, a white, a milk, and then at last a piece of mass market chocolate. And she was giving this tour, and a little boy, or a child, she didn't say whether it was boy or not, child said, "Oh, I recognize that. That's my favorite brand." But when they got to the end of the tasting, he hated it. And he was like so distraught and crying, and the mother thought it was hilarious. And so she didn't feel too bad for that little bit of education that she gave them. So anyway, okay, so they've done really well. They survived COVID, which, if you don't know, Melbourne was one of the places that was locked down the longest in the world. So bravo for surviving that. I have two of her bars today, Solomon Island and this gingerbread bar. I am going to open Solomon Island. What else can I tell you? Oh, the name. So the name Ratio comes from the ratio of ingredients that they use. So that says on the back of the bar, the ratio of ingredients that she used. So usually 2 ingredients, unless you're this one, I believe, is a milk. Yep. It says right on the front. Milk chocolate bar. So it's going to be more than 2 ingredients, but the ratio of the ingredients. It also, ratio stands for the amount that they pay the farmers, so the ratio that they give back to the farmers. And she also said the ratio is work-life balance, which she hasn't quite gotten a handle on yet. I don't know how many of us actually have, so keep working towards that one. So I am going to open Solomon Islands. Let's flip the camera around and try some chocolate. All right, so here are the 2 bars that I have. I'm going to try the milk chocolate today. Save this one for another day. Let's look at the front. So Solomon Islands, that's where she's sourcing her cacao. Ratio, name of the company, we've got a 58%. It's got this kind of recyclable feel to it. It's got this little Australian made and owned down here. Handmade in Melbourne. So on the back then it talks about balancing a ratio of just 4 ingredients. They do source Australian cane sugar, Australian cream, so local sources for that. And the Solomon Islands is the Makira Gold is where they are getting their cacao. So just 4 ingredients: cacao beans, milk powder, cane sugar, cocoa butter. Oh, that's interesting. So on the back it says cacao beans 40%, but on the front it says 58%. So they must be adding some cocoa butter in there to get up to that percentage. Let's open it up. Cool. All right, so here we come back to the ratio theme again. The pattern on this bar is called the Fibonacci sequence. And the Fibonacci sequence is a famous, it's a famous ratio, I guess, that is named after an Italian mathematician who first introduced it to Western Europe in like the early 1200s. But actually Indian mathematicians were using it way earlier in like 200 BC. So what it is, so this bar goes this way. The Fibonacci sequence, this pattern, is that each number is the sum of the 2 preceding numbers. So depending on where you're going to start, some people will say 0 or 1. I'm getting a little geeky here, but anyway, it goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, etc. And it grows in a specific ratio. And you often see this pattern in nature. So it's interesting that she put this on her bar. Beautiful looking bar, gorgeous color to it. Thickness that I love for chocolate, perfect, not too thick, not too thin, thick enough that it's going to travel well all the way from Australia to me, but not too thick that it's going to affect the perception of the flavor of the chocolate. Sometimes when they're too thick, astringency can come through a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snap it right now. Let's give it a snap. Pretty good snap for milk. That's decent. And I'm going to warm up the volatile compounds with my thumb, release those aromas, see what I can smell and see what I can taste, and we'll come back and let you know. All right, so the aroma is of a nice flourless chocolate cake. When I taste it, I get a malty kind of milk caramel. It's got a slow melt chocolate cake. The sweetness is really nicely balanced, good ratio for the sweetness. The sweetness is not overpowering at all. A little bit of fruitiness in the back of my throat at the very end, and a tiny bit of nuttiness in the finish. If I chew a piece though, I get much more fruitiness from the cacao coming through. So when I chew it, I get bright red fruit, cherries, much more fruitiness coming through when I chew. So taste your chocolate, let it melt loose slowly, but also chew, because sometimes you get different flavors when you ingest it in different ways. Neither one is bad, but both are interesting. So this is the Solomon Island bar from Ratio. I am going to flip the camera around and finish up. All right, so Debbie wanted me to share some exciting information with you. She is the president of the Australian Chocolate Festival for bean to bar makers. And this year on July 7th, it will be the first ever dedicated bean to bar chocolate festival held in Melbourne, Australia. So if you are in Melbourne, get excited because you have a chocolate festival coming your way. The Instagram is AustChocFest, AustChocFest. So that would be exciting. No chance I'm going to make it to the festival, unfortunately. I'd love to go back to Melbourne. I spent some time there in the mid-90s. Loved it. when I was there, there were no bean to bar chocolate makers, but now there are. So lucky, and you're going to have this festival. So I hope that if you are in Australia or near Melbourne, you can have a chance to go see the festival on July 7th, 2024. Otherwise, make sure you go try some bean to bar chocolate makers in the area, Ratio being one of them. Worth trying. Good bar. So that's it for today. That's all I have to say about Ratio. If you have tried Ratio, let me know what you think. If you are planning on going or have been when you watch this video to the Australian Chocolate Fest, let me know about it. I want to hear about it. So let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time we're talking chocolate.